Hey, what's up? It's Comic 95 the Savior, and for this video, I will be talking about the pros and cons of dating a wealthy man, a rich man, specifically in Japan. So I'm talking about Japanese men in particular. Do keep in mind that this is just my own opinion, my own personal experience with dating here. Everyone's story, opinion, preferences, whatever will be totally different, but I'm telling you what I personally found to be pros, what I personally found to be cons. I also want to get this out of the way because I know people are going to say this. The reality is, no matter how you try to spin it, money does matter, especially when you're trying to have a serious relationship. You need money to pay for a house, to pay for a car, for your children's tuition, to cover dates, to cover bills, utilities, everything. And the reality is, while nowadays everything is trying to change and there's things with feminism and this, that, and the other, and toxic masculinity and all sorts of little new terms, whatever, the reality is the way that so-called traditional relationships work is a man provides, protects, and takes care of his family, and a woman nurtures and takes care of her man and both of you guys' children. I don't care what you choose to do. That's totally cool. If you both want to work, you both want to do whatever, that's fine. It doesn't change the fact that women like what they like and men like what they like. Likewise, men like women who look good and are young and are to their liking body-wise, whether that be a girl that's really slim, a girl that is thick, whatever the case happens to be. Men like women that are young, youthful, beautiful. Okay, likewise, women like men that are tall, which is associated with being masculine, dominant, and protective, as well as men that can provide. I don't necessarily mean a man that is filthy rich per se, but let's also keep it real. A man that has it like that can most certainly provide and take care of you better than a man that is making an okay salary to a livable wage. So that's all a whole nother story, but I just want to put it out there. People constantly try to shame and make women look bad, and for liking men that are tall and or for liking men that have stable careers and good jobs, but we never bash men for liking girls that are young and attractive. And if we do bash them for liking girls that are so-called too young, we don't bash men for only going after beautiful women. But women are supposed to settle for men that have mediocre, low wages, no education, etc. I'm also going to keep it real here, where there are people that, of course, are billionaires. The richest people in the world didn't go to college, or shall I say they didn't graduate from university. But that's a prime example of being the exception and not the rule. How many people did not go to university that are rich? How many people did not go to university that are making, $200,000, $300,000 a year alone and aren't doing something like YouTube? Even YouTube. The majority of people on this platform don't even have 100,000 subscribers, myself being included. So we're not going to talk about exceptions. We're talking about the rule. This is also specifically about Japan, although of course these things can most certainly apply to American men, British men, whatever, but I'm not getting into your countries. I'm talking about Japan because I live, work, and study here, and I've been here for all of my adult life. At this point, I've dated significantly more Japanese men than I have any other race of men, including my own, mainly because the majority of people here are Japanese. But I have not lost sight of my own, dating standards, what I find attractive, what I don't, as well as the fact that there are definitely cultural differences between things that these guys do versus guys in my home country. Again, I am talking about the pros and cons. So not just the good things, not just the bad things. And this is all my own personal opinion. So again, money does matter. You want to get married, you want to have a ring, you want to have an engagement, whatever. You need money for those things. And the reality is, women are not made to work, especially not after getting pregnant. I'm not going to go into PC politics with you guys. As I always say, I know it's going to step on a lot of people's toes, but just keeping it real. Some of you guys are, busy trying to, think about your own relationship, and you don't want somebody to say that because you have a man that doesn't have a good career, and you're like, oh, but we love each other, etc. Love does not pay bills. Just keeping it real. And don't get me wrong, paying bills alone is not enough, because it doesn't do any good for a guy that can pay for everything if he's treating you like crap and isn't there for you. And that's what this video is going to be, balanced. Talk about the good things and the bad things. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. I have another video that will be posted after this one sometime later on, in which I will talk about how to tell if a guy does have money, has a good, career, salary, whatever, before you meet. So, for screening with online dating, but this also applies to people that you meet in person. So I also want to clarify, because people, online dating is scary, or he could be lying to you about whatever. Well, that goes for when you meet that guy at the bar, or the guy, your friend's party, the international party, whatever. It's the same people. In fact, if anything, there's more security in meeting somebody online because you can ask questions, get pictures from them, get information from them that you otherwise would have forgotten to ask in person. You might think, oh, I could feel a person out better, but no, you really can't. Because when people go to people go to parties, bars, etc., they normally put on a fake persona in order to attract the type of women that they want. Okay, same thing goes for online. Guys do the exact same thing. They can also make fake profiles to attract the type of woman that they want. So you're literally dealing with the same type of person, except unlike at a bar, unlike at a party, this person is forced to talk about themselves in their profile, forced to make themselves interesting and share about themselves in order for you to even be willing to go and meet him, unless you're just that desperate of a woman that you just meet with any guy that messages you. And with that said, there's definitely more security, more time to ask questions, more time to get to know this person. So I'm specifically really talking about online dating, but this goes for in person too, for that video, for how to tell what type of salary this person has, type of career they have, etc. Do also keep in mind, I'm not giving advice for gold diggers, people that are just looking for men that have money. There's a fine line between, hypergamy. There's a fine line between a woman that wants a man that is financially stable and a girl that is a total bomb, has no education, nothing to offer for this man but her pussy. We're not talking about girls like that. We're not talking about uneducated girls. We're not talking about ugly girls, obese girls, anything else. But truth be told, no matter how stupid you are, how ugly you are, how fat you are, how tall you are, how whatever negative thing you could think of you are, there's gonna be a guy that has money that would most certainly date you. But don't get it twisted. Somebody willing to date you doesn't mean they're willing to marry you, though. So you might have a date with a guy that has his stuff together, but he might just be using you to sleep with you. So be very careful with that. There's a difference. And on top of that, do keep in mind that a lot of guys, I'll talk about this later on in my other video, but guys might have money, but it doesn't do any good if you're dating a rich guy if he's not spending his rich pocket money on you. And that's what a lot of guys do that do have money. They play you guys. They use you, talk about getting married, everything else. But at the end of the day, these dudes wouldn't spend a penny on you. The only money they spend on you is to woo and wow you by taking you to a nice little restaurant. But they got to eat too. Yeah, you went to a nice hotel, but he got to sleep there too, and he got to F you. So you might be thinking, oh my God, I'm living the life. He does whatever for me. And it's like, what has he done that's just for you? Does he buy you bags? Does he buy you gifts? Does he do stuff that's just for you? Or is it things that mutually benefit both of you? Because at that point, you're basically just an inexpensive hooker, is what it all comes down to in his eyes. So don't be fooled. Dating a guy that has money and dating a guy that takes care of you with his money are two different things. And also don't get it twisted. Guys, a woman wanting a man that is financially stable is not the same as a woman wanting a man strictly, solely because of his money, which that's not really a bad thing either. And I want to talk about that for a second. I'll mention this in my other video too. Not just a matter of it being, because you need money to survive, money for marriage, etc. But because unlike beauty, anybody can gain money. Anybody can go to school, get an education, and therefore earn more money. Your looks are something that you're born with, which I know to some men it sounds like, oh, that's what makes it unfair. Yes, you might be born attractive or born ugly. And yes, you can get surgery and wear makeup, but those things can only do so much. Makeup and surgery is not going to make a girl that's a 2 turn into a 10. It doesn't work that way. Not to mention it's expensive, life-threatening, and there's a lot to go through for that. And the reality is it doesn't last either. You have to get touch-ups. You can get botched. It normally happens if you keep going back to get surgery, which you have to do because it's not going to stay the same. It deteriorates over time. Things like Botox, breast implants, Brazilian butt lifts, those things are not permanent. They don't last forever. And every time you get those things done, the results are different. Look at celebrities that have had, their bodies done. Over time, they don't look the same, even when they go back to get it done. The job that, is done on them looks different the second, third, fourth time around. Okay. Whereas with men, you getting money, getting an education, that benefits you for a lifetime, whether or not you choose to ever get married or ever date another girl. Your money allows you to travel, you to eat what you want, you to go where you want, you to have, sleep with people that you want to if you want to live that type of lifestyle. Whereas for women, your looks do nothing more than allow you to have a pretty face for taking pictures, looking in the mirror, and mainly just to attract other men is what it all comes down to. Make girls jealous of you. Whereas for a guy, your money takes care of your children, takes care of your wife, and yourself. It's beneficial to you, and anybody can get education. Anybody can get money. So if anything, that's the less superficial part, because that is something to easily expect and ask for of a man, for him to have a good career, for him to have a good education. Whereas on a woman's side of it, you can't really ask a woman to do much about her looks. Either she naturally has it or she just doesn't. Simple as that. However, I'm only saying this because guys often try to bash women for wanting guys to have money. So really, it's harder for girls than it is for guys. For example, I could say for myself, I'm blessed to be considered to be attractive by most people, regardless of where I go. But the reality is, I'm aware that I have pretty privilege. If I was busted to the average person, my life would be a lot harder when it came to working, dating, making friends, everything else. You'll never be everyone's cup of tea. There's plenty of guys that look at me and be like, oh my God, she's hideous. She's not my type. Who would date her type thing, regardless of the race, black, white, Asian, Hispanic. There's plenty of men that think I'm just the ugliest thing in the world, just as there's plenty of guys think I'm the best looking thing in the world. But that's a whole other story. My point is simply to say that looks are more subjective and superficial than money, because nobody looks at $100 and says, oh my God, and throws it, flushes it down the toilet, down the drain like it ain't nothing. We all value that $100 bill. We all value that college bachelor's degree, that master's degree, etc. But beauty is extremely subjective. It's totally based on the person. And with that said, if anything, it's more fair for women to say that they like, men that are rich, that have money, that have themselves together, because anybody can earn that. Having money is, better than being beautiful in that sense, because look at it this way. Women will date a man that's short, that's ugly, that's fat, that's whatever, because he has money. But men, most men, do not care how much money you have, how good your education is. If you are ugly, obese, or whatever as a woman, most men will not give you the time of day. And I speak from personal experience. I used to be obese before I came to Japan. I was over 200 pounds. And I was, almost wearing a size 20 at one point in my life. The highest I weighed was almost 250 pounds. And men wouldn't give me the time of day. I was a lame in school. I was a neutral lame. I was one of those kids that people didn't bully and pick on really, but I wasn't cool enough to really be friends and hang out with the cool people, but I was not lame enough where I could talk to the cool people and the in-between people. So I was kind of the in-between person myself. I was a borderline lame, borderline neutral person, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, and with that said, I know what it's like to be at that position. Now as an adult, I've become one of the cool people. Everybody wants to date me. Everybody wants to talk to me, etc. Whether I'm in the US or in Japan. I have people from other countries, people from Italy, people from Germany, people from India, from Korea, from China, etc. People from Australia, people from all these different countries, etc. From France that call themselves liking me, flirting with me, trying to talk to me, Canadians, etc. So I'm living a completely different life than what I had as a teenager. When I was young, when I was a kid, when I was a teen, I had adults saying, oh, you're so pretty. You must have 5 boyfriends, whatever. But it was only adults saying that. Kids didn't feel that way about me. Now look at me. Now I get it from both adults, children, people my age. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. You're so whatever. Get messages from high schoolers all the time. People thinking that I'm their age, that type of stuff. So I'm not saying this to speak down on you, but rather I'm saying I can relate. I speak from personal experience. Your looks either make it or break it for you as a woman. But as a man, if you're short, if you're ugly, you can make up for that by having money. And even for the guys that are attractive, don't get me wrong, if you're an attractive man, you can attract girls that are really out of your league when it comes to education and finance and that deserve more than what you have to offer as a broke man. But your looks can technically carry you a little bit in that field. However, your pockets will carry you much further than your looks ever will. And unlike looks, anybody can earn an education. Yes, I get it. The looks part is the easy way out. But again, the reality is, education and money help you more than it might help that girl that you might end up with. So it's not a loss for you. You don't have to get surgery to earn more money. So that's another story. And the little debt that you do go into, because people always talk about, oh, you have to go into debt to get a degree. You can go to college for free if you take school seriously when you're in high school, when you're in elementary school. And even if you don't take it seriously then, okay, would you rather have to pay, a monthly bill for your student loans, or would you rather have no student loan bills but spend your whole life working for Uber, working at McDonald's, making $10, $15 an hour forever, never owning a real house, having a nice place, having a nice car? Okay, I don't know about you, but I'd rather go the option of taking out a student loan and having significantly more money so that now I can afford to pay my bills. And I don't just mean any type of loan, but go to school for something that makes money. That means avoiding things art related, avoiding fashion, avoiding photography, avoiding animation, etc. I get it, people want to do those things because it's fun, but the reality is for most people, you're not going to get a career in it. I'm speaking real, not playing PC with you. I'm sorry for hurting your feelings, being blunt, but I got to say it how it is. I wanted to do these things too. I made several videos talking about how I wanted to go to school for animation, fashion design, etc. And then reality hit me. I wanted to be a game designer. I thought about it. How many people are doing these careers? How many people are making a livable wage off of them? Right, nobody. And the few people that are, they're the exception, not the rule. I have friends that went to school for graphic design, and they're bums. They're doing nothing with their lives. They're sitting at home with mama right now. So again, speaking from experience, I'm going 20 minutes into this video. I haven't even gotten started with it yet, but I just want to clarify, this is not for gold diggers. So if you are a girl here, you're just looking to mooch off of some man, this is not for you. I'm talking about women that have their own stuff together, but they want a man that makes more than them. They want a man that can either, match them, or a man that does greater and more than what she does. They want to be protected. They want stability. They want financial security within their relationship. This is for those women. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, like I said, I'll have another video that specifically talks about, how to spot spots and generally tell if a guy has money or not. Let's go ahead and get to the video. Super sorry, this is like the longest intro I've ever done, but I wanted to explain it because I know that people are going to have their panties in a bunch and be upset about me talking about this. Girls are going to want to defend their broke men, and you're going to have men that want to defend, the fact that they don't have any money, and men lying in my comments and capping about how they do have money, but it shouldn't matter and this isn't true, whatever. Tell those same men that if that's the case, then you shouldn't mind dating a girl that isn't attractive, because you don't need to be a beautiful or a young woman to be able to cook, clean, and take care of a man or kids. He won't agree with that though. He wants to go after women that are young and attractive, but he doesn't want you to go after men that are tall and have money. Interesting. So, back on point. Let's get on subject. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the pros. I'll try my best not to go on forever about it because I'm already wasted like 20 minutes in this video. So let's get started. We'll start with 10 pros and then we'll go into 10 cons, and I'll end the video off there. Wait for my next video in which I would talk about how to spot or tell if a guy has money, if he's false flagging, etc. or not. Let's start with the pros. Number 1, you don't have to worry about money. That's the most obvious thing. Dating a guy that is, rich. And when I say rich, I don't mean like filthy rich, but I mean like, he has money. A guy that's well off. For Japan, might I add. Of course, the amount of money that's considered as well off will vary by his city, but when you date a guy that has money, like, you don't have to worry about money anymore. Your bills, your transportation, your rent, mortgage, living expenses, car note, whatever, it's all taken care of. You don't have to think about, oh my God, do we have money to cover this water bill? Oh my God, the electric bill is $500. No. It's handled, it's taken care of. You don't have to worry about it. It gives you peace of mind. One of the most stressful things in a relationship are finances. People argue and fight over those things the most, and when it comes to that is actually the number one cause of divorce. People argue over money. If you're dating somebody that has money, what do you know? Huge part of why people get divorced magically disappears. Don't have to fight about it. Don't have to think about it. You already have it. Number 2, should it get to the stage, you can have a dream engagement and wedding. You can have the biggest, nicest, most fancy diamond ring that you ever dreamed of. Have a big, nice engagement party. Have a big, nice wedding. Have a beautiful wedding dress. You don't have to worry about checking tags and stuff. Oh, this is too expensive, whatever. And don't get me wrong, a guy having money doesn't mean he's filthy rich. He probably can't afford no $3 million diamond ring for you or something. But you don't have to worry about him buying you a $100 ring from Walmart either, though. You'll be able to get something that's nice and flashy and to your liking. Same thing goes for a dress. You'll be able to get something that's to your liking instead of that, $50 dress from Sears or something. Not trying to bash people that get these things. I'm just keeping it real. If you like nice things, you're going to get that from this person. You don't have to worry about, the expenses of having a wedding or saving for it and budgeting and things like that. It's taken care of for you already. He's not going to be stingy with those things. He's going to want to give you something nice, something beautiful for your engagement and for your wedding. That's a huge pro if you ask me. Number 3, you don't need to save money for a baby. One of the biggest things that people talk about when they get married and start planning for a child, trying to conceive, is saving money. You have to think about everything, diapers and clothes and medical bills, this, that, and the other, and putting them in school and extracurriculars, etc. Dating somebody that has money is both of you all's baby. It's not even you. It's you all's child. Something that you all both will share till the day that you die and afterwards. Whether you guys get a divorce or not, you both have DNA put into this kid. It's both of your baby. And with that said, this person has money. You don't have to worry about being able to afford giving birth, being able to afford raising a child. He's got all of that covered. Huge burden, huge amount of stress off of your shoulders. You don't need to save up money for years trying to plan for a kid. You can just spontaneously go ahead and have one right away, or several of them if you want to have multiple kids. You don't have to worry about being able to afford them. He has more than enough money to cover the expenses and costs of raising a child together. Number 4, your children's tuition will be covered. You don't have to worry about saving money for college for them. He already has it together. He can easily save money, put it aside for them to be able to go to university debt free, or at least in the future that will already be handled. So yeah, don't worry about those type of things. When you're dating somebody that has money, you don't have to think about saving for their college fund, saving for a diaper, saving for extracurriculars, etc. He has enough money to easily afford these things. You don't have to worry about your broke people problems, basically. Number 5, it's no longer a dream. You can actually be a SAM, aka a stay-at-home mom. It's actually realistic for you. You don't have to worry about, if I'm staying at home, we're gonna have to be really frugal because now there's only one income, we can't afford X, Y, and Z. Nope. You can live life just totally as normal, if not better than you were living before, while staying at home, taking care of both of you guys' baby, caring for the house, and taking care of your man. It's a very realistic goal to have when you're dating somebody that has a good salary. Number 6, you can travel the world together. A big dream that a lot of girls have, and I think even guys too, is being able to travel the world with their significant other. If you're dating somebody that has money, going on nice vacations, traveling, even doing things like first class, or if not, going first class per se, just being able to go to nice places, nice locations, go somewhere other than, the Holiday Inn up the street type place, or since we're here in Japan, what do they call it? The APA, whatever, hotel type place. You don't have to worry about that. You can go to nice places together. And even if you have children, you guys can travel together as a family. He can afford to do these things. Unlike if you date, an average man or somebody that doesn't have that type of money, you can afford to go to nice places around the world. You don't have to stay limited within your city, within your neighborhood, within your area. It's very much indeed possible to travel, explore, and do new things together. Number 7, you'll get expensive gifts. He'll take you shopping, he'll buy you handbags, he'll give you expensive makeup, etc. He's not going to have to think twice about it because he has it like that. He can afford it. And don't get me wrong, if he's like most men, he's not going to be an idiot. You're not going to get no Birkin bag or something ridiculous like that, but you most certainly will get nicer and or expensive gifts. He can buy you things from Dior or Chanel and things like that. He can buy you nice things that are modestly priced, not super expensive brands, but you get what I'm saying. Things that are expensive to common regular people, but that you can get within moderation from somebody that does have, a good career, that makes good money without having to do anything crazy or inappropriate for them. Just by being in a relationship with them, they'll buy you gifts, show that they love you, that they care about you, and to let you know that you're important and valuable to him. He'll give you things like that without you having to even ask. Number 8, you'll go on fun and expensive dates. You'll find places that you've never even heard of before, but that he knows of. He'll have exclusive access and memberships to places, and just take you to really cool places that, will make you like really, really happy, and that probably don't have any honestly no real meaning or value to him, because he's probably done this stuff a million times before. He has memberships with different clubs, different hotels, etc. So there's a lot of fun things that you'll be able to do together. You'll be able to brag and show off to your friends and family. Look where my boyfriend took me. Look what we did together type stuff. So yeah, you'll have a lot of new fun and expensive experiences to have together, as well as, of course, the food that you eat. You'll go to more expensive restaurants. You'll get more expensive desserts, etc. He's not going to be nickeling and diming and trying to find the cheapest restaurant nearby, the cheapest hotel. No, he's gonna look for the best and nicest place to spend the night, the best and nicest place to go out to dinner together. He wants to impress you. He wants you to be happy. He wants you to feel good. He wants to see that smile on your face, and it's worth every penny to the sky. Number 9, you'll get to live in a nice home. Well, of course, we're in Japan, so it's probably not going to be the biggest place imaginable, but you will have a nice sized place, a newer place. You'll have whatever type of place that you want to have together. He'll choose a place that makes both of you guys comfortable, but he'll definitely take your thoughts, your wants, your needs into consideration situation. You want a place that has more closet space, you want a place that allows pets, he's going to make that happen for you. You need to have, a regular US style bed, he'll get that king size mattress for you. He's going to make you feel comfortable. You're going to have your dream home here in Japan dating this guy, because he doesn't want anything but the best for you as well as for himself. You're going to have the nicer things in life, and that definitely includes the place that you got. That definitely includes the place that you guys will be staying at. He's not going to, choose some crappy, rundown, old cheap place, because he's not trying to be super frugal and budget his money like that. He believes in spending money where it counts, where it's necessary. You spend a lot of time at your home when you're not at work, so he wants your house to be nice. Whether you rent or own, he's going to choose a place that is nice for both of you. Number 10, he'll appreciate the things that you make, buy, and do for him significantly more than a so-called average man does. This is because people that have money are honestly really used to always having to be the one that foots the end of the bill, that always has to pay everything, that always has to buy everything, that has to do everything on their own. They're not used to being taken care of, because people always assume that because he has money that you don't need anything, that he doesn't need anything. People don't know what to buy him, people don't know what to get for him. People assume, oh well, he's rich, oh he has a good job, he can pay for everything. People have that type of attitude and mentality. And so don't get me wrong, as a man, part of him likes that. He likes the fact that people rely on him, that people depend on him. But at the same time, he feels really, really happy when you do stuff for him. I know average regular guys do too, but trust me, they're a lot more appreciative when they have money, because they're not used to it. They're used to always being the one doing that. So when you do make him dinner, when you do make him a handmade card, when you do buy him, a new dress shirt or something like that, a new tie, he's really, really happy, because he knows he can buy it himself. But it just means so much more when it came from you, especially since you make significantly less money than him, more than likely, but you used your little measly salary to try to buy him a gift, to try to make him happy. You took the time to cook him his favorite meal, to make him dessert, etc. It'll truly put a smile on his heart, on his face, everything, and it makes you feel really good too, because again, that he's not used to that, and just know that you're probably the first or only person that has and will ever do something like that for him. So this is why I said this is not for gold diggers. If you're the type of person just want to use somebody, just want to take advantage of him, don't want to give anything back, he's going to catch on to that. But he most certainly will really appreciate it when he sees that you're actually trying to put an effort to give and not just take from him. He's used to people always taking from him. When you go on dates, you want to get dessert, you want to get the most expensive thing on the menu, you want to go to the most expensive hotel imaginable. He's used to that already, and he's not going to be impressed. He'll be more impressed by you doing something back for him than your reaction of showing how grateful and thankful you are that he took you to that 5-star hotel. So yeah, those are the end of my list for my pros. So let's talk about the cons. So again, this is my own opinion. There are more things I can add to this list, but these are the 10 things that come to my mind that I like about dating somebody that has a good job, has a good career, is financially stable. In a nutshell, to summarize my list of pros, basically you don't have to worry about money, and you get to experience and do nice things. You'll get nice gifts, etc. And again, he values the things that you do for him more, because he realizes that, you could have just called Uber Eats, or you could have used his credit card to order a pizza, but nope, you chose to make him dinner. You put in the blood, sweat, and tears to clean the house and, get that done, etc. So you could have bought a card with the money that he gave you, but nope, you decided to sit at home and, make him a card using, random stuff that you got at the craft store. So just little things like that. They really appreciate that. And honestly, that makes me really happy too. So let's move on to the cons. Again, my own opinion, my own experience with dating. Everyone will have totally different cons. There's exceptions to every rule. Just because a guy has money does not mean that he has all of these cons, just like he doesn't have all of those pros. This is generally speaking 10 things that I like, and now 10 things that I dislike and don't really find fun or find scary or challenging about dating somebody that has a good career in Japan. Number 1, he doesn't have time to text, talk on the phone, or video chat with you, because he's basically busy doing other things. He's at work, he's out with his friends, he's doing his own thing, living his own life. He doesn't have time to be, bombarded with your phone calls and your, I have to move my laptop, your, constant messages and texts. Where are you? I want to see you. I miss you. He's not going to be able to reply right away. He's busy doing other things. He's not going to want to talk nonstop. He has plans. He can't just, pick up the phone anytime you call. He's not going to always be able to text you back, especially not if he's working. So you're going to have to get used to being a little bit more independent if you're dating a dude that has money. Number 2, keeping it real, he's likely to cheat on you. Unfortunately, when men do get money, unlike women that are attractive, even though women that are attractive can do this too, they typically abuse the fact that they have money, and they realize, why stop at one girl when I could have several? Especially since he knows that if you're like most women, you're not going to leave him for cheating on you because he has money. And for that very reason, he's aware that because he has money, he can attract other women that like him because he has money. Even if the purpose in being at the even if that purpose in being with that other woman is strictly, for having, rubbing bodies together, if you know what I mean, it's still cheating. It doesn't matter what the case is. However, like I said, I'm going to keep it real. A lot of girls don't care. That gold digger and comes out more. And they're like, well, I don't care if he cheats as long as he's still my husband and I get his money is what it all comes down to. Some girls are cool with that. But if you're anything like me, that is not cool with you, and you'd rather just have another boyfriend that doesn't have money. So yeah, you're gonna have to deal with the possibility that it's very likely, if he has a good career, he is not going to be 100% monogamous and faithful with and or to you. Do not get me wrong, a guy that has no money can cheat on you too, and for that reason I say I'd rather get cheated on, a guy that has, with more money than some broke dude and have him still cheat on me. So it's whatever. Everyone has their own opinions about, how that stuff goes, but generally speaking, the more money a guy has, the more likely he is to cheat on you and not be so faithful. He has more options. He can get better looking women, more educated women, younger women, etc. He might not always be at work when he claims to be at work. He might not always be with his friends when he claims to be with his friends, with his family, whatever. It's very likely that at some point in your relationship, he is going to cheat on you, or he's going to always cheat on you. He might even be open, honest, but you look like it's going to be an open relationship. But the bogus thing is, it will never be double-sided. He's okay with cheating on you because he has money, but he would not be okay with you cheating on him because he's not there for you. So keep that in mind. You can't say, well, I'll just cheat back. You cheat back and you get caught. That's it. He gonna cut that money line from you. So keep that in mind. Okay, sorry, I took a little bit of a break and got something to drink. But yeah, number 3, he doesn't have much time to spend with you on dates or at home. So similar to the first con that I talked about, not only does he have time to text and or talk to you on the phone, but he doesn't have time to go on dates with you, or even when he gets home, he's gonna want to go straight to bed, probably still work from home. And, even like when you do have time to go on dates, it's generally just going to be on the weekend, similar to how it was before you got married. So you might be thinking, since we're married or because we're in a long-term relationship, he's going to have more time to see me. But nope, it's going to be the exact same as when you guys first met and or before you got married, except probably even less time. He's going to be busy doing other things because in his mind, he already has you. You're his wife, you're his girlfriend, you're his fiance. He's not going to be putting in any more effort than he was previously in most situations. He's going to be too busy to be able to see you very often. But don't get me wrong, kind of going back into the pro part, when you do see each other, he will go all out normally and, plan expensive and nice dates for and or with you to make up for it. But again, you're not going to be able to see him as frequently, as much. You're not going to be able to communicate as frequently or as much. Generally speaking, there's always an exception to every rule, but most guys cannot do that. Not ones that have money, at least. Number 4, while this might not be a con to some people like myself, you'll have to date an older man. Now, depending on, your personal preferences, some girls don't like older guys. Some girls wouldn't date a guy that's more than 3 years older than them. Some girls wouldn't date a guy that's more than 5 years. The reality is, depending on your age, you're going to have to date a guy that's significantly older than you if you want a man that has good money. It's very unlikely for you to find a guy that's under the age of 30 that's making over $100,000 a year, or over $200,000, $500,000, $1 million, whatever. There's exceptions to every rule. For example, there's YouTubers, etc. But people making normal, working normal jobs, making that kind of money is very, very unlikely. And with that said, you're going to have to be willing to date somebody that's in their mid to late 30s, or more realistically, early 40s, mid to late 40s, etc., or even beyond that. And with that said, if you don't feel comfortable dating somebody older, this might not be the lifestyle for you. Not just that, you also have to face the reality. If he's older than you, men already live shorter lives than women. Are you going to be okay with being a widow? Are you going to be okay, when your husband is no longer here? And you might think, of course I'm going to be okay. I get his money, his inheritance. If you're like most women, you want to have a partner for life, if you're not a gold digger. And with that said, you're going to want somebody that you can grow old with and spend your time together. If this dude has 20, 30 years on you, Not that you can't do that, but you're going to have a lot less time with this person. I'm not going to lie, I personally like older men for two reasons. One, of course, I like the financial stability that they provide, but two, I find it easier to talk to them. They're more mature, you can have intellectual conversations with them, they're more serious about life, they're more serious about, you, they know what they want, they have experience, really it's more than two things. I can give a whole list of things. They make better partners in bed, the list just goes on. This is my own personal preference and opinion. Everyone has their own thing. Most of my friends don't like older guys. My friends here in Japan do like older guys. My friends in the US, not so much. Totally depends on the person. But again, you have to be willing to date a guy that's older than you, but also accept the fact that it's likely that he's going to die before you. And when and if he does, are you going to be okay with living alone? Because remember, you're not going to look as cute as you do right now. You're going to get older. You're going to get wrinkles. You're going to, get fat. Your hair is going to fall out. It's going to turn gray. You're not going to be able to pull men like how you used to, which means that more than likely you are going to be alone and probably never remarry. Do you want that to be your life? Think about it. Yes, you might have money to throw around, but money does not replace the physical presence of a partner, which is the reason why even when men do get money and are afraid of getting married, they still sleep around with women because they also want to have company and companionship. And it's also a big reason why people that do have money generally still choose to get married, because they want somebody to share their life with. They might know that you're using them, but they want someone to share their life with. They want consistency. They want stability. They want a wife to come home to. You're going to want the same thing if you're being real with yourself. So let's move on. This video is not about that. Number 5, his friends and family might not accept you out of fear that you're probably a gold digger. Just going to keep it real with you, but you're going to have to constantly live around walking on eggshells and on tiptoes because his family is going to think, does this girl really like my son, or is she using him for his money? His friends are going to think the same thing. How did he pull this girl that's 15 years younger than him? Does she really like him? Or does she like the fact that he has money? I've been in these situations before and I speak from experience. You're going to constantly find yourself having to prove that you're not that type of girl, you're not the type of person, and that you really do like the person that you are with. Whether or not it works out in the end is a whole nother story, but I'm just saying, like, within the dating phase, you're going to have to prove that you're with, their son, you're with their friend for good, pure purposes and reasons. You're going to have to prove that you don't have ulterior motives, etc. That's just life. Number 6, he might be abusive and or manipulative. A lot of guys that have money let it get to their head and they realize that you're with them because they have money, more than likely. And with that said, they will use it against you and make you feel bad for not having as much as they do. For example, they might, bring up in arguments, you only have X, Y, and Z because I paid for it. You're only here because I did that, etc. And try to make you feel shamed and guilt tripped for not being rich like how he is, for not having what he does, for what he provides, and make you feel like you have to do whatever he says or whatever he wants you to do because he's the breadwinner. He's the one bringing in the money. They let it get to their head. That can be a really scary type of relationship to be inside of, to be with someone that's manipulative, abusive, gaslighting you, whatever you want to call it, that type of stuff. That can be scary and not so much of a good thing about dating somebody that has money. They kind of feel like they're God in their head, that you're his slave and his servant. And you should be grateful that, he chose you out of all the girls he could have had type thing. So you're going to have to deal with people saying crazy stuff like that to you. Do all guys do this? No. Do some guys do that? Most certainly. Even if they don't say it to you, they're oftentimes thinking it in their mind when they get upset with you, when you do something he doesn't like, whatever the case is. So, yeah. Number 7, if you get a divorce, the custody battle is going to be complicated and messy. In Japan, it's totally legal for your spouse to run off with your kid. Parental kidnappings are completely legal and normal here, and it happens all the time. And yeah, especially with you being a foreigner, it complicates things and make it harder. I know that there are girls and even some men that insist, it has nothing to do with a foreigner versus Japanese thing, but that can be further from the truth. That's not true at all. There's definitely preference given to the Japanese person. The difference is, generally speaking, most relationships that have the whole divorce thing go on, it is normally between a foreign man and a Japanese woman, and not a white woman and a Japanese man. And in most circumstances, when that does happen, most people believe that women are better off with raising the kids. And this is where things get complicated, where it seems like it's a foreigner versus Japanese thing. The reason why you white girls that have gotten divorced might have custody of your children is because he willingly gave it to you, or you ran off before he had the chance to. And more than likely it was because he willingly gave you custody of the kids, because to him, having the children is a burden. He needs to work his job. He doesn't have time to be trying to figure out daycare and everything else. And secondly, while he might still love and want to take care of his children, he believes that you as the mother are better off with raising and caring for the kids. Because just keeping it real, Japan is an old-fashioned country. They do things traditionally, and I honestly agree with them on this point. Women generally, when they're not on drugs, don't have ulterior motives, ain't for the streets per se, they generally do a better job with nurturing, caring for, and raising children. That's the way that God designed things. Don't argue with me, argue with the Creator. I'm not here to get into that whole little PC politics thing with you. Children need both their mother and father, do not get me wrong, but I would do it 10 times over again if I could have. I am glad that my mother raised me, not my dad. And not just from my own experience, because I did learn different things from my mom and dad. Realistically, women do a better job playing both roles than a man can do. It's simple as that. Fight me, hate me, whatever. I know people have different upbringings, but don't think about yourself. Like I said, I gave an example using myself. In general, oftentimes the only reason why men want custody, sole custody, is because they don't want to have to pay child support, and or they want to use it as a way to hang it above the woman for leaving him or not doing what he wanted to do, whatever type thing. Not a matter of him truly just wanting the kids. Fight me. It's factual. It's the truth. Like I said, from personal experience of myself. So, not gonna get into that whole little political topic of, raising kids, etc. I'm telling you how Japan goes and works. If you're dating somebody that has money like that, more than likely they're gonna want to have custody of the kids because they don't want to have to pay you child support. They don't want to have to pay you any more money than they have to, because they're probably gonna have to deal with, alimony and stuff like that in the first place. So they want to keep things as cheap as possible, and they see, their kids as being their heir. That's, their children, that's their legacy. So sure, they're yours too, but you get what I'm saying. Basically, for most people, if you marry somebody, and or let's say you don't get married, you just have children together, it's going to be messy. So you want to be really careful if you choose to have, a baby with somebody that has money like that. Because if things don't work out, there's potential that they could run off with your kid. And if they do try to legally go through the court system to have custody, it's likely going to go in their favor because they're the ones that have the career. They're the more financially stable partner. And in this case, they're Japanese and you're not. So keep that in mind when you do choose to date somebody that does have money. You're risking potentially losing your children should anything go wrong with your marriage and or relationship. It can be a little bit risky. Number 8, he isn't romantic or gentlemanlike, and he lacks social skills. A lot of guys that have money like that, they spent all of their lives going to school, going to extracurriculars, etc., and not so much time dating. And with that said, he probably doesn't know or simply doesn't care a lot about trying to be romantic, trying to be a gentleman, trying to, have a charming personality, etc. He might seem very robotic and straightforward and just really stick to the schedule type person, and that can be a bit of a turn off if you're somebody that's used to more affection, more romance, more whatever, because he's more like the, okay, I planned this date, let's do whatever, not the, I bought you flowers, what's your favorite whatever, how was your day type of person, ladies first type guy. So totally depends on the person. I've definitely dated men that had money, that were, buy you gifts and pull out the chair and open the car door for you. I've definitely dated guys like that. But like I said, I'm telling you the general rule of thumb. I'm not speaking on my own experience, telling the general rule of thumb, because I can be honest, the guys that I've dated that have had money, they've all been the, ladies first type of guys. But generally speaking, that is not the average guy. And I can say that from personal experience, because there's been plenty of guys that I've avoided dating for that reason, because they did not come off as somebody that seemed genuine and caring and loving. They seemed more like it was a transactional relationship, like their purpose in dating me was strictly to find a baby mama and not to find a real partner for life. It was more like a you're attractive, you're young, let's make this happen type thing, instead of it being, I really want to get to know you, I want to take care of you, I want to make you happy type thing, and I want you to make me happy and take care of me type thing. So it's hard to explain, but long story short, most of these guys are lacking social skills. They don't have a lot of experience dating, they don't have a lot of time to date, a lot of time to talk to women, and a lot of them aren't even that attractive. So until they got their money, women weren't even looking their way because they weren't tall, they weren't handsome, and they didn't have money at some point. So this whole being popular with ladies thing is new to them. They're not used to this type of attention. For example, doctors. Most doctors are not attractive. And you want to know what? They spent years not having that money, not having that, free time, vacation, that knowledge, etc. They spent all of their time studying in books, going to med school, studying for exams, working on learning other languages, learning about the body, doing internships, etc. They didn't have time to go around dating women. And when they did date women, it was average, regular looking girls. They probably dated them for a week or two, a month or so. No long-term relationships. And with that said, they lack experience with ladies. Number 9, he expects a lot from you in return. Just as you expect him to give you gifts and money and take care of you and take care of your kids, take you on vacation and buy you bags, etc. He expects for you to do your job as a woman. And he wants you to cook him meals and clean his house and make everything perfect and give him the best blowjob he's ever had type thing. He wants you to work for the money that he's giving you, for the lifestyle that he's providing you with. And if you can't measure up, if you can't perform well, if you can't do that, you're sloppy, you're lazy, you don't want to take care of yourself, you don't want to do your hair, you don't want to keep your nails polished and clean, you don't want to do that type of stuff, he's going to leave you for somebody else that does. Simple as that. So again, exceptions to every rule, but most guys, they want you to work hard because they're working hard. They don't want a sloppy, lazy woman. So again, that can be a con for some of you. Maybe you're somebody that, isn't good at cooking, or you don't like cleaning, or some days you just don't feel like doing whatever, or you don't like to exercise, you don't want to keep your body in shape. This isn't going to work for you because he's going to be on you about your stuff more than likely. Even if he's okay with you at first, after you guys start dating for a while, he's going to express, wouldn't hurt if you go to the gym, maybe lose 20 pounds, or wouldn't hurt if, you put some makeup on, or, take care of that acne you got going on, whatever the case is. And so if you're someone that's self-conscious, you don't want somebody getting on you about, your body, or getting on you about, you being sloppy or lazy, whatever, this ain't gonna work for you because he will be vocal because he knows that he can ask for these things because he has money. Again, he'll have high standards. He's not going to have low standards because he has, high value. He has money. He's not some broke, bum dude. Number 10, he doesn't trust you. So yes, last but not least, he's going to be insecure. He's going to always wonder, does she really like me, or does she just like me for my money? Is she cheating on me? Is she using my money to, do stuff for other guys, whatever? He's always going to be wondering, worrying, and worried that you're not faithful to him, that your motives are not good, etc. And he has every right to think and feel this way because for a lot of girls, that most certainly is the case. He's going to be concerned and possibly even a little bit stingy and frugal, at some points because he's concerned, does she really like me, or should she use me for shopping sprees? Because there's plenty of girls that will gladly do that, especially here in Asia, because unlike in countries like the US, women here are not shamed and bashed for things like hypergamy or even being a flat out gold digger. It's pretty much expected and standard here, so much so, as I've said before in other videos, it's very, very common for moving my camera, it's very, very common for girls to want to know this information. So guys normally tell you straight up front, it's normally written in their profiles, what their career is, how much money they make, where they went to school. And I think, where is it, Singapore or Malaysia, where they have, what do they call it, the 5 C's, 3 C's, whatever, which stands for credit, certificate, condo, and is that it? Oh, car, credit, certificate, condo. So 4 C's. I might be missing something else. Credit, certificate, condo, car, credit, the 5 C's. So credit, condo, car, certificate, something else, crap, I forgot. Credit, car, condo, certificate. What am I missing? I just said it. Credit, condo, car, certificate. Credit, condo, car. Credit, condo, car. Certificate. Okay, whatever. 4 C's, 5 C's, whatever. However many C's there are. We just can call them the C's because I'm going to spend forever talking about that. We're going into an hour. So yes, long story short, it's okay for girls to say what they want. And likewise, guys do the same thing. They'll let girls know straight up front, I ain't paying for no fat bitch. Okay, and just as that's so, girls ain't, wasting their beauty on some broke nigga. And it just goes the way that it does. So yeah, he isn't going to be trusting towards you. He's going to assume that, the worst, that you're cheating on him, that you're lying to him, that you're stealing from him, whatever. And so that might drive you crazy. It might also make you feel bad. Like, okay, like, I want to be with somebody that's manipulating me or trying to make me feel bad for, liking the fact that he does have money. He doesn't feel bad for liking the fact that I'm younger than him and that I'm pretty. He knows that I'm, way out of his league because I'm way above him type thing. So, that's just whatever. So those are my, list of my pros and cons, my own personal opinion. Basically, in a nutshell, to summarize the cons list, you're going to have to deal with the fact that he isn't going to be able to provide you with the emotional aspects that a guy that doesn't have money can easily do for you. He's going to lack the social skills. Even if he has those skills, he's not going to find it worth it to put on a show for you, because in his mind, why pretend to be something that I'm not? Why do something that I don't want to be when I can just be myself and get any woman that I want to? Because even if as a woman, you do like that kind of guy, you like the, super romantic gentleman like guy, he knows that girls will change what they like, adjust their likes to match his, because he's the one with the money. So that's something that most certainly can be problematic and drive you crazy depending on the type of girl that you are and what you're looking for. So I know for me, I'm a very emotional person. I like clingy men. I like the nice guy type. I need somebody that's romantic. I need somebody that has time for me, that wants to see me, wants to be with me. I cannot date somebody that's a workaholic, busy 24/7. You got to make time for me. I want to cuddle together. I want to have sex. I want to do things like that. You can't meet me, in that area. It's not going to work. I cannot compromise on those things that do not cost money. I would rather have the time with you than the gifts from you. Don't get me wrong. I love gifts, love money. I love a nice fancy restaurant, fancy date. But that does not replace getting dick at night. I need my vitamin D. I need to have somebody to hug, kiss, cuddle, to be on top of. I want to sit in your lap. I need that type of man. If you are not that type of person, this is not going to work for us. It's simple as that. There are other girls that don't care. There are women that are like, okay, if you buy me Chanel bags, he's taking me to the Louis Vuitton store and, getting me, shoes, that and the other. They don't care. They will gladly date that guy. And I just can't do that. So again, don't get it wrong for the guys watching this. Women want stability. They want financial stability. Having a guy that's rich is a bonus, but they really just want stability. Likewise, most men want a girl that is attractive. You don't need to be a 10 to be attractive to a guy. But if you are a 10, well, of course, what dude is going to say that he wants a 7 when he can have a 10? Okay, girls are the same way. If we can have a guy that has tons of money, that's very well off, why would we not want him over the guy that's just doing okay? All right, simple as that. Yes, we can have an average height guy that's 5'10", but if we can have a guy that's 6'1", 6'2", why would we not want that 6'1", 6'2" guy? Simple, especially if they both happen to be, the same level of attractiveness. So that's it. We're approaching an hour at 55 minutes right now. Those are my pros and cons. If you've dated men that have money here in Japan in particular, please give me your 2 cents. What is your advice? What do you think are the pros and cons of dating guys that have money versus the ones that don't? What are your opinions on this topic? For guys, chime in, give me your 2 cents. What do you say, the pros and cons are? Have you ever dated a girl that has more money than you versus less? Like, were there any differences? How do you feel about it? So I have another video that's going to specifically talk about spotting, the differences, somebody that's fake, false flagging and fake flexing, pretending to have money when they don't. That's another story. And gold digging is a whole other topic. I'm not talking about that. I'm strictly talking about just what is it like to date somebody that has money, and what are the pros and cons of being in that type of relationship. That's all I'm talking about right here. I'm not talking about feeding into the idea of women that I have no career, no education, nothing to bring to the table, might not even be an attractive woman, but are looking for guys that are making bank. I'm not talking about that type of girl. So that's a whole nother story. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave me a comment down below. Give me your 2 cents. What is your opinion? What are your pros and cons to being in a relationship with a man that does have money versus one that doesn't? Would you like to date somebody that does? What are your reasons for wanting a guy that, has money? What are your reasons for wanting that type of stability in your life? Give me your 2 cents down below. Please like this video. Leave a comment. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Comic95. You can add me on Snapchat at Comic the Savior. And you can also follow me on TikTok at Comic the Savior. I also have a Facebook fan page at Comic95 the Savior and a blog at comic95.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll watch another video. Bye.